everybody, today we're going to look at the Sippin' on Sunshine Feature Quilt from Kimberbell. I've got all my products together here. We're going to go over everything you need to make this. Some things are optional, and then we'll talk about creating a schedule to make this fun feature quilt. Sippin' on Sunshine is going to be finished size of 40 by 40 when made just like this in the instructions. Here's a good look at the quilt. Also available is the Sippin' on Sunshine Quilt Embellishment Kit. Nice oversized needle minder. I really like the needle minders. And there's also a fabric kit available. You can get the fabric kit from local quilt shops. My fabric kit came from Prickly Paradise Quilts. I've got one of their little pens here. I will go ahead and link their information below. I have a link to purchase a fabric kit through them if you decide after watching my video you'd like to purchase a kit. I do not receive a commission from them for the fabric kit, but I have met the owner. I've been in the shop. She's very nice. I would not hesitate to buy a fabric kit from her. If for any reason she is sold out of the fabric kits or you want to put together a different look, you can contact them and they'll help you pick your own fabrics. When you get your fabric kit, it comes in this really nice keepsake box. Let's look at all the different fabrics. Everything comes tied together. There is a note in here about the border fabric. If you're a member of the Kimberbell Facebook page, Machine Embroidery with Kimberbell, you may have seen some information going around on how to cut the borders. I did look at this and I looked at the cutting instructions, but until I get further along in the quilt, I'm not really worried about it. I haven't cut any of my fabric or done any of the prep yet. So there is information here about the border fabric. It says right here, the fabric kit has Kimberbell basics, solids, and fabrics from the Sippin' on Sunshine line. Has a little card here. When you turn the card over, it has some instructions on how you can use these pieces here to make a paper butterfly. There's always a fun little project on here. I haven't ever made any of them. I kind of like to keep the card intact, especially as I'm working with the project. These pictures and the SKU numbers of the fabric are very helpful. Let's look at all the fabrics. I'll just hold them all up to the camera so you can get a good look at them. This is an aqua floral, aqua and white. We have a nice green background with the different fruits. Really cute. Flowers on aqua. Got our gingham print, a nice bluey green solid. This is more of a seafoam green, sage green. This would be a darker green, maybe aloe green if you use glide threads. A nice dark salmon. It's not really pink, it's not really peach. We've got a dark, kind of a mustard orange. Medium tan color, one of the Kimberbell basics that you probably recognize. I've seen this pattern before. Let's look at the next set of fabrics. We have a nice green, aqua, same print, different color. A couple pieces of that. And then some charm squares. We've got our fruit with kind of a sky blue background, that really pretty floral. Yellow with the white dots, red and white gingham. We've got that same print again in another color. Some solids. This is a white on white polka dot on red. Whoops, we got a red stripe in here. Let's see, pink with red dots and stripes. Floral. And, oh, if you've watched my home sewn videos, you'll recognize that print. That's a Kimberbell basic. We have some larger cuts of fabric here. We've got the nice clouds with the sun. Gingham, yellow. There's that print again. This is kind of an orangey yellow. Pink floral. Here's that really pretty floral. I really like this print. This is a good print to make a colorful patchwork quilt with because you can incorporate solids, orange, blue, green, light pink, dark pink, yellow, and you can just do squares. You can do 5-inch squares of it and you'll have a beautiful patchwork quilt. Got the white with the gray dots, a green gingham, the really nice, I think this is like the feature print. You might recognize some of these designs from the Sippin Labels applique. I'll be making a project with that really soon. Make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So that's what's in your fabric kit. And again, everything is detailed right here on the card. Let's look at the instructions and I'll show you how you figure out what goes where. Here's your cover page, a list of all the blocks. You'll see I've got little check marks. That's because I made the bags for those. I'll show you that today as well. Some general information about the icons used throughout. And then when you get here to page 5, you'll see all the pictures of the fabric. They're all labeled F1, F2, so fabric 1, fabric 2. There's a picture of the fabric swatch so you know what you're working with. It tells you how much of the fabric is needed. So if you didn't buy a fabric kit or you want to change the color, maybe you want to substitute all the yellows for purple instead, then you can go through and pick purple prints and just substitute out your own prints, and you know exactly how much fabric you're going to need, where it's going to be used, and then how to cut it. When you go to this column here for purpose, anything with the green heart is going to have fusible backing on it. You can use Kimberbell Fusible or you can use Pellon SF 101. I'll have to look in my stash and see how much I have of each. I may end up using Pellon SF 101 for this because I know I have a big pile of it. If you have a Hobby Lobby by your house, see if they carry the Pellon SF 101. We've got one about half an hour away and it was on sale, so I bought a bunch. The next column here is the quilt section, and we'll look at that in a minute too. There's a printout that shows you the quilt sections and the quilting designs. The last two columns show standard size and block by block size. When I'm putting this together, anything that has a separate size like this for block by block, that's what I'm going to be using because I am going to use the background quilting for this. That's the first page of fabric requirements. There's another page here and it continues here, and then you'll see there's some fabric cutting diagrams. These are very helpful. This shows you how to cut to get the most out of each piece of fabric. You want to make sure you cut how they have it detailed here in the diagram. That way you don't end up accidentally running out of fabric. Cutting diagrams here, this is page 7. More cutting diagrams here on page 8. And then there's the additional materials requirements. These are things that are in the embellishment kit. Clear vinyl, mylar, tulle, micro velvets. There's all the velvets, the felts, different embroidery leathers, and there's some information here about the buttons. You're also going to need paper tape, fabric starch, and a fray preventative product. It has that listed as optional. That's page 9. And when you flip to page 10, there's an embellishment cutting diagram. So if you have the embellishment kit, which I have right here, you can see that sparkle, that's the mylar. This shows you how to lay out everything that's in the embellishment kit and the proper way to cut it so you end up not being short on any of your materials. All your stabilizers are listed here. You'll notice there's Flexi Foam listed. I have a video on my channel showing how to use Flexi Foam. This adds dimension to your embroidery project. I'll make sure that's linked below. Project batting, fusible backing. Looks like we're going to use a light mesh cutaway, a medium cutaway, the wash away stabilizer, and wash away topping. I'll put a link below that will bring you to where all of these stabilizers and products are linked on Kimberbell's website. The next page, which is page 11, is the thread color and block table. The thread colors are given in glide colors. You'll see there's some writing next to mine. That's because I don't have a lot of glide. I had one of the glide colors listed. Anything I have with PF is Floriani. Anything with an S in front is Simthread. I like to use my fabric wrap rope bowl to hold everything and keep everything organized. I have a video on my channel showing you step by step how to make this rope bowl. It has an embroidered base to it. There's also water soluble thread for this project. We're going to use it both as a top thread and a bobbin thread. I've got mine right here. I keep it separate in a bag because if you wind it on your bobbin, it looks like regular thread. Let me show you the thread. I've used this Vanish Light by Superior Threads in a couple of projects. It works very well for me. If you have something else that you prefer, that's fine. If you don't have water-soluble threads, a lot of times they will give instructions on how to use a visible thread, and then you have to trim the threads. It is easier to do those special steps with a water-soluble thread. Order yourself a spool. On the bottom of this page is a block table, and then after that, it goes into the instructions on working our way through the quilt and making each of the blocks. You can see here we'll be doing some trimming with our orange pop rulers. I'll make sure those are linked below for you. There's another file that comes with your instructions as well. This is the Sippin on Sunshine Quilting Designs Guide. If you're using the background quilting, this comes in handy. You can see how everything is numbered and everything is color coded into sections. The quilting designs used are listed right there. And then we have the quilting guide right here. I find this very helpful. I know it all looks like a lot of information, but we're going to work through everything start to finish, step by step, and when you do a little bit at a time, we'll be able to get through it. In addition to pulling my threads, I went ahead and I made my bags for all the blocks. That's why they have the little check marks. Let me show you that. I have this great cardboard basket. I have two now from Christmas last year and the year before. My parents send us Moose Munch. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's very tasty if you like popcorn, caramel, and chocolate. And they send us this nice container of it. I think it comes with 12 bags. This is a great basket. If you've got a basket handy, get a basket. What I like to do is grab some Ziploc bags. Look at the list of blocks. They're here in the block instructions, and they were also listed on the bottom of page 11. All the blocks are there as well. And you make a bag for each block. One of the things I do is I combine borders, binding, and backing. Sometimes I don't cut that until the very end. But you'll see I've got the block names: grapes, refreshments, soda bottles. Some of these are new bags. I've written right on the bag with a Sharpie, and some of them I've been using since Star Spangled Beauty. And there's a piece of tape over what was on it before. This looks like Patriotic House Roof. Patriotic House Roof. Yep, that's what was on it. I just put a piece of tape over it and I wrote strawberries. This is the tape I use. It's called Chroma Label 1-inch Clean Remove Tape. I bought that on Amazon. Once you've got all your bags labeled, you're ready to start cutting. I refer to the diagram. I always cut per the diagram. You also want to pay attention to which items need fusible. So for this piece of fabric, the F1 half yard, everything I'm cutting needs fusible on the back. So then what I do is I flip to the cutting diagram and I want to look and see, am I going to use the whole piece, part of the piece, most of the piece? You can see you're going to cut most of it. You could iron fusible on the back of the entire thing and then do your cutting, or you can cut first and then iron on fusible. You'll see here on F7, this 5x5 is in blue. That means it has a block by block size to it. Please leave me a comment. Let me know if you'd like to see any of the fabric cutting or if you just want to jump right in and start working on the project. We're going to get started on this in the next couple of weeks, and depending on your feedback from this video, I'll decide whether I'm going to start by jumping right into the first block or couple of blocks, or if I'm going to make a separate video and show some of the fabric cutting and organization. Let me know what you'd like to see. My embellishment kit, I'm going to keep sealed until I'm ready to cut some of the embellishments. I don't want to misplace anything. On the back, you can see the list of the embellishments included. It's your micro velvets, felt, the leathers, and their leather is a PVC product. It is a plastic product. It's faux leather. It is not animal leather. Vinyl, tulle, mylar, the buttons, and the bow. I'm going to put that right here in my handy Moose Munch basket. Got all my threads ready. I'm going to set that there as well. Going to grab my fabric kit, which is right over here. Again, if you want a fabric kit, I'll link Prickly Paradise Quilts below. They're in Goodyear, Arizona. They do ship, so if you don't have a quilt shop next to you and you don't know where to buy your fabric kit, they will happily ship this to you. If after watching this video you've decided to purchase the Sippin' on Sunshine or some of the items you've seen here today, please consider using my link below. I have affiliate links with Kimberbell for everything except the fabric kit, because Kimberbell does not sell fabric. I do get a small commission, but more importantly, it lets Kimberbell know people are watching my channel and enjoying my content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. We'll get started on Sippin' on Sunshine.